All right, let's take a look at the next problem. I'm going to turn the machine on. Let's hit the start button and see what happens. All right, so machine reset okay, score reel's cleared out. It's on ball one. Let's see how the machine plays. Take the ball out. No rollovers work. No drop targets work. Pop bumpers are dead. Stars are dead. Kickout hole works, but doesn't score anything. So, flippers don't work. The only thing that works is the kickout hole. And then the drain hole, out hole, kicks out a ball. So I can shoot the ball, but I can't do anything unless it's in that out hole. What's the problem here? All right, you can just make out this slip of paper right here on the switch contact on the game over relay. It's the red, white, and red, yellow wire. Switch with the red, white, and the red, yellow wire. It's a normally closed switch on the game over relay. Let's take a look at the schematic. Okay, so that Q relay is the game over relay. There are 6 sets of contacts on the relay. There's a hold on relay, and then actually I'll show the next 2 on a schematic. And then there are 3 sets of contacts for lighting. When the game is over, there's a normally open contact for the 3rd player and 4th player lights, and those close when the game's over to provide some light. There's also a switch it's a toggle. This toggle here is going to look like this. There are a pair of contacts. One's closed and one's open, and then it's got like a little arrow that says Q. And the normally closed one enables a circuit that lights the ball and play light through the player unit. And then the open one, when the Q relay actuates, energizes at the end of the game, these change state. So this one closes and this one opens. And when this one closes, it lights game over. So the bottom 3 are pretty straightforward lighting contacts. Let's look at the top 3. Okay, so here's the Q relay, game over relay. It's around schematic section 12E. And here is the Q relay. And how does it get turned on? When the game is finally done, the BX relay is going to enable. And we're a little hint for you. We'll see that one later. But when the last ball is played and drained, this switch is going to close. And then we have the O relay has a pair of contacts. Remember that O relay is the ball return relay. So when the ball drains, these will close. So now we've got all 3 of these closed. Well, you may also remember that ball return relay, the O relay that closes these, also has a contact to enable the score motor. So that means the score motor is going to run, and when score motor 4C closes, it's going to close the circuit to Q, which is going to signal the game over relay. It's going to actuate the game over relay. So when that happens, we all know what happens. All the switches on the Q relay change state. Here's that hold on relay. So you can see that as soon as that motor 4C pulses, Q now has a circuit over and we have power. So even after 4C opens, this part of the circuit doesn't matter anymore. Q is held on here by this. So here is really, this was the switch where I had put the piece of paper in. It's a normally closed switch. When the game is over and that Q relay actuates, once the Q relay energizes, this is going to open, which shuts off power above the schematic to a lot of stuff, basically everything on the playfield. So when the game's over, everything in the playfield is going to be shut off. And then we're going to see the third player score lights and the fourth player score lights turn on. We're going to see the game over relay turn on. We're going to see the ball and play lights disabled. And the reason that kickout hole in the middle of the playfield worked is because it's actually below this Q switch contact, this Q contact. It's down below on the schematic somewhere, so it will always work. This is kind of an interesting schematic here showing the power, how the machine gets power to the playfield. So remember that the schematic shows when a machine is turned on, the machine resets, a ball is in the runway, and then you unplug the machine. Now an AX relay is a latching relay. It's going to stay in whatever state it was last. So the machine had AX with this switch closed and this one open. And if you look, since this is the right side of the schematic, you think, I don't have power here. I can't power anything up above. But that's what this little thing here is, this little detour. The O is, remember, that O is the ball return relay. And if the ball is in the runway, then obviously this switch is open because the ball return relay is enabled when the ball drains. So we're not going to get power through here. And then when you look at this on the schematic, this thing is drawn with this switch open and this switch closed. And this may have you scratch your head for a minute before you realize how it works, because what this is showing is there's no way for electricity to move up the schematic. We have air gaps here. None of these switches will connect to allow power to go. This is where the error is with it's not really an error, this is what you need to know with the schematic. The schematic shows this one closed. But that H relay is the hold relay. When you reset a machine, you put the ball in the runway, the ball kicks out to the runway, and then you unplug it, the schematic is going to show that this switch is closed and this one is open. Because the hold relay is actuated during gameplay. So when you unplug it, obviously it's going to go back to this state. But when the machine is on, the hold relay is enabled, these are going to flip, and that switch is actually closed when the machine's on. That's how power comes up the right side of the schematic. Kind of a tricky thing if you don't know what to look for. I wanted to show this as another example, and this is related to the Q relay. On the schematic, it's going to show this top R contact closed and this bottom one open. Well, if you look at that circuit, it shows the Q would be on all the time, which means the game over would be on all the time. And obviously that's not the case on a machine because you can play it normally. So again, this is a situation where the schematic shows a machine fully reset, the ball kicked out in the runway, and then you unplug the machine. R is the hold relay. I mentioned H earlier, that's the tilt hold relay, not the hold relay. R is the hold relay. The hold relay is energized when the machine's on. So it's actually going to have this one closed and this one open during gameplay. When you shut the machine off, it's going to flip and it's going to look like the schematic. But that open contact there prevents Q from going. It's a key point. Now what you'll see is, and we'll probably see it some later episode, is how this hold relay affects this switch. But we won't worry about that today.